So, hi, hello, and welcome to another weekly talk with Hannah. So, I didn't expect to have to, have a fire going today, but it's cold outside, so it's cold inside, and yeah, so I will need this for today, but yeah, who knows? Maybe this is the last time. I'm saying maybe this time. Maybe this is the last time I am going to use it. Who knows actually at this point? But let's start with this whole thing with like firstly movies. I haven't watched anything, which yes, it kind of sucks, but this year I am just taking it easy on movies. And basically, I am thinking that next year I am going to have a 365-day challenge again. So, where I watch 365 movies. And yeah, I just feel like that is something that I definitely can do. So, yeah. Let's go over to TV shows. Now, I don't think this one will be too long just because, yes, there are like these few books that I'm not going to talk about because I am reading the last book that is out in this series for now. And I kind of want to talk about all of them under one. And I will be done with that last one like this week. So you will hear me talk about that next week, just because I want to have them all under one, just so I can, actually wrap up all my thoughts. And yeah, so this one might be a little shorter just because of that. But then again, next week I will talk in probably in length about this series because this book series, not normal series, but this book series because yeah. And there will definitely be some spoiler thoughts on that. I usually do some spoiler thoughts in here just because, yeah. So, yeah, let's talk about TV shows first. So, I am watching last week tonight with John Oliver, just because I feel like this is the only weekly thing that I am watching. Let's call it news, where they basically talk about something that has happened last week. And let's just say that I don't usually watch a lot of news just because I find them really depressing. Can we just say that? Really, really depressing. And yeah, I just feel like nothing that is happening in the world right now is fine at all. And it is really sad. And just a lot of the things that we get in the newspapers, some of it can be like really like horrible pictures, and I don't feel like I want to watch that. And then there are just a lot of things that is happening, and it's just horrible. And then we have different things that is happening in the world, in Norway, and it just becomes a lot of things where so this is basically kind of one of the few things I have seen, like a little bit here and there. And but overall this is like the only news thing that I am like currently watching. Like, it's also comedy, so it's just a little bit more lighthearted, and I sometimes need that. So let's see what else. I finished American Murder, Lacey Peterson. So I've been on a true crime binge of some sort, let's just say that. And this one is about Lacey Peterson. Now, I can't remember her case just on top of my head. Like, have I watched it? I don't really remember. But this one, yeah, it was interesting. I feel like 3 episodes is not a lot, and you finish it off like really quickly. So it's like 3 hours long. But I usually split it up because I don't feel like watching too much. But yeah, this one was an interesting case. Let's just say that it's basically about this woman who is 8 months pregnant, who goes missing, and the top suspect becomes her husband. but he doesn't want to talk to the police. So it's interesting, and I feel like a lot of the times, like where you don't want to talk about the police, like to the police, or not help them at all, I just feel like you are aware that you are just like making yourself become a suspect because you don't talk to them. You just seem very suspicious, and yeah. So interesting case. And then I just watched, the normal things like Homestead Rescue. I have to say that this is currently an hour and a half long and like 90 minutes. And for me, that's really difficult to watch. And I don't really know. I think that is one reason why I am not watching any movies. Because 90 minutes is for me such a long time, and I don't really know why. So, yeah. But it's interesting. And then I am like the new season of Drive to Survive's Formula One has come out, and I really love watching that. It's really interesting, and yeah. So this one is from last season, the last Formula One season. Now we soon start with another season, which I'm curious how they are going to do this with some of the races, but that's not my problem. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. So yeah, I find it really interesting to where the drivers talk, and some of the just some of the like leaders, I don't like them. I feel like they are really harsh, and yes, you can be harsh, but I just feel like it's unfairly sometimes that and some of them are like unfairly too strict, and I feel like sometimes the best thing, like the last one I watched was just like, you did this, that is your fault, and I'm just like, can't we? I mean, what I would say is basically to give them some constructive feedback, like if you just try and do this better and you might get better. And I'm just like, I feel like once you get like only criticism, it's sad to see, especially for young drivers, like new drivers get like instantly like a smack on the head, and just like, you need to be better. I'm not gonna help you and give you any like feedback, but I'm only going to criticize you and hope that you do better next time. And I'm just like, is that really the way that we are doing this? But yeah, it's overall interesting, and yeah, I can't wait until we get to like the Horner basically getting the boot. Let's just say that I can't wait. Yeah. So what next? I am slowly chipping away at Grey's Anatomy, which I don't know. It's not my favorite anymore. I used to love this series, and now I'm just like, can we just stop? I just feel like all of the characters that are left, I don't care that much about a lot of them, basically, because like the people that we started with is kind of no longer with us in this series, and it sucks. So yeah. So let's go over to talk about books, because that is, yeah, I have read a few ones. So yeah, and then the one series we are not talking about yet, because yeah, I have probably like 650 pages for the last one. But next week we will talk about that, and we will probably it will probably be a long talk, because there are a lot of things that I want to say about this series. I just don't want to say this and then take a break until we get to the last one, which I will talk about then next week, because I just feel like I want to be able to say my full thoughts on everything. And yeah, this series is not yet done, but yeah, I can just say the series. I mean, if you have seen anything, you might know that I'm basically reading Magnolia Park's universe, meaning that, Magnolia Park's, the Daisy Hayes books. And yeah, so I will talk about those next week. I just need to read Into the Dark first because I want to basically know where we are going to end this, because that is the final book with Magnolia Parks and BJ, and I want to know where we are going to end before I even start talking about it. And then, I don't know when the next Daisy Hayes book is going to come out. So yeah, I mean, I can't wait talking about it until that comes out, and maybe the next one. I don't know. I think it's one or two left. But it's probably it's possibly that she will, have something that is going in between there. I don't really know. Just because she has never come out with two books about the same characters, after each other. You have the first Magnolia Parks, then you have the Daisy Hayes book, then you have the Long Way Home, and then you have The Great Undoing, and then you have Into the Dark, and then you get the next Daisy Hayes book. So I don't really know how that is going to go, but yeah, that was a brief talk about that. I will talk more in depth next week because I need to get that off my chest. I just need to know how it ends. So yeah, the first book that I read last week was Angel Falls, and this one I didn't fully love. I don't know. I have to say that I am not in love with these books where basically you have amnesia and they don't remember their normal life. I mean, the ending was good, but I don't know. And I also find it really weird that she was married to this star, this music star. And basically no one, I mean, she was married to this guy and no one even noticed that this was her. And I'm just I just find it a little weird that no one knew who she was. But I mean, fine enough. But yeah, so I give it 3 stars. It was fine. But I don't. This is not my favorite Kristin Hanna, and basically, I just feel like this is this is definitely Kristin Hanna's new older work, and it kind of shows. So it was fine. I'm going to read more Kristin Hanna, but not right now. So the next one I read was Stormfront, and I gave it 2 stars. I didn't like the main character. I just couldn't get into to that guy. It was yeah, it was just no. I don't know what else to say other than no. I gave it 2 stars. It was, the story itself was fine. I don't know. I didn't care, and I feel like once I don't care, it's going to be a problem. The next was A Plain Truth by Jodi Picoult, and I sadly didn't like this either. 2 stars. I just felt like it didn't get to the point quickly enough. Let's just say that it was too much dilly-dally or other things, and yeah, I don't know. And the ending was fine enough. No. I just find it very strange that a mother, an Amish woman, would actually let kind of this happen to her daughter. And, kind of that it actually comes out, just because I feel like sometimes you don't hear about shit like this. So yeah, it was fine. Don't know what else to say. So I'm just going to jump over the Magnolia Parks and the Daisy Hayes. The next I read was Velocity Weapon, and I gave it 3 stars. It was fine. It was good. I am going to continue on with this series. I just feel like One of my problems was maybe that I read it like in the like smack middle of being like totally into Magnolia Park series, and basically let's just call it Magnolia Parks really gives me anxiety, and I feel like that kind of dampened maybe some of the enjoyment of other books because I was yeah yeah. So I liked it. I'm going to continue on with the series because it was interesting. I just don't know how quickly. It's not like my first priority. Like I need to know what is happening, but I have it on my continuing on. It's fine. It's interesting. So yeah. And then we have The Long Way Home. So basically, The Long Way Home I read in one day. I read 500 pages in one day. I sat like like glued to my couch for probably 8 hours straight. That's how that went. But yeah, we're not talking about that yet. But then we got to the end of the month and I had a problem. And that problem was basically that I had two goals that I needed to get to. So I basically had to cramp in two books, and the first one was Big Mushy Happy Lump, and this was so much fun, and I feel like these books are basically something that I can definitely see myself in. Like the first page has this girl who says, "I have so much to do today," and basically she picks up her blanket and just lays down on the couch, and I'm just like, that is definitely me. When I have like a lot of things to do, I don't do them. That's like my main thing. I don't do them. If I have a lot of things to do, I won't do them. So yeah, so this was very highly relatable. I give it 4 stars. Really enjoyed it. Then I read Star Wars The Dangerous Rescue. So I have always like tried to get to the Star Wars books. I don't know. This might be my last and final year doing this. It really depends. I feel like one of the things that needs to not change, but basically what I am going to do, I am going to stretch this out until I'm done with this. Like this series is all about Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, something in those lines. Basically, Obi-Wan's younger years, and I am not loving them. So I am going to, stretch it out until I'm done with all of these and maybe get to some of the other ones and then see, am I going to continue on with this? Just because I don't know. I don't know if I love them enough to continue on with them. But then again, I want to get to the other ones and basically see, do I like this enough to continue on with it, or am I just going to quit here? Because with that, I don't know if I am in which way I am going to go. Let's just say that. So yeah. Do I have anything else? So for like anything else, what have I watched or anything like on YouTube? I haven't watched much. To be completely honest, I have just been not actually watching that much. Should have gotten to more. But I just, when I read Magnolia Parks, I was just basically listening to music to calm myself down, just because once I took off those headsets, I couldn't concentrate on the book because I was just so highly annoyed. And kind of, yeah, Magnolia Parks gives you anxiety, and it's just like, you kind of want to just, I kind of wanted to throw them away, and then I also had to know what was happening. And yeah, I hope kind of Into the Dark is a little calmer in the sense that I don't feel like I have like going to have an anxiety attack because of her. I don't have anxiety myself, in my day-to-day life, but there are definitely yeah, this was something. And I listen to music the entire like day, and So basically, when I read The Long Way Home, I listened to music for 8 hours straight because that was the only way that I was going to get through this. And I basically tried listening to YouTube and I just could not do it. I couldn't focus on either at that point. So listening to music was my kind of savior. So for Into the Dark, I am definitely going to slow down and just not read too much of it. I am going to try and read 200 pages or more, 250 today, and then go over to 200, just so I get to 300, and then I can get to 500 and then 700, because this is 700, and so it's a long book. And yeah, so, but I can't wait to discuss that next week. I feel like that is the only thing that I am going to think about. And one thing that I kind of found out was that basically, I don't know if it is in the works or not, but this is going to be a TV show or movie or something, and I'm just like, wow, that's gonna be one hot mess of a series or a movie or whatever it is. Probably is going to be a series because they need to have a lot of things, just because the Magnolia Parks and the Daisy Hades is basically going on at the same time, and this is going to be one big mess, and I am hoping that the next Daisy Hades book is coming to come out sooner rather than later. However, Jessa hasn't even started to write it, so yeah. But that was enough for just teasing everyone with things that I'm going to talk about next week. But yeah, so I haven't done much of anything actually. So yeah, I don't think there is kind of anything else to talk about for this week. So I hope you like this video, and I will see you next time for another one. Bye!